So I became a CRNA because I wanted to bridge the gap between being a bedside practitioner and the knowledge that I didn't have. There were a lot of medications that we were using, and I kind of knew surface level how they worked, but I really wanted to know down to the receptor level in order to kind of take that next step into being a provider and being able to make decisions for myself and understand why that decision will be helpful in the situation that I'm in.
Well, I had family involved in healthcare, and I started working in a hospital at an early age. I was 16 when I first worked at a hospital in Nashville. And once I started seeing the nurse anesthetist around responding to codes in the ER or taking patients from surgery to the ICU, I talked with them and investigated their jobs and decided that was just something I would be interested in doing.
I chose to pursue anesthesia because I wanted to provide a holistic care for a patient from the beginning of a case to an end of a case. The ICU allows you to provide an intense level of care for very critical patients, and I wanted to be able to do that for patients, but also be optimistic and hopeful and confident for their family members to know that once they're under anesthesia and they can't express their wishes or advocate for themselves, that we would be able to do that for them.
I became a CRNA after being a nurse practitioner for several years because of the autonomy that you have, the interaction that you have with other operating room personnel, and just the intensity of the operating room and providing anesthesia.
Well, I decided to become a CRNA because I saw other CRNAs doing their job and I wanted to do it. What I've found is going from a bedside nurse where your attentions are really scattered, really drawn thin. As a nurse anesthetist, one of the best things is you can devote 100% of yourself to one patient at a time, and that's pretty awesome.
I became a CRNA. I'd been a bedside RN for 6 years, and I have a father who has been an anesthesia provider for over 30 years. So it was always a profession that I grew up around. I got to see how much he enjoyed the profession and how I just fell in love with his passion for the profession. I also like the autonomy that you get as a CRNA versus a bedside RN, but you still get to take care of the high acuity of patients.
I became a CRNA because when I was in high school, I had to have surgery. And I remember being so nervous, and this guy came up and he said, I can't remember his name, said, "I'm so-and-so, and I'm gonna be your nurse anesthetist." And again, I was so nervous. He made me feel so at ease. He put my IV in. And I remember asking him, I'm like 16 years old, and I said, "How did you get to where you are in life?" And he told me, he said, "I was a nurse. I went to this school called Middle Tennessee School of Anesthesia." And I said, at 16 years old, that's what I want to do, because he made me feel so comfortable in that moment that I was like, I want to do that for other people. And that's really what initiated, I didn't know what a CRNA was at that time, but his making me feel comfortable is what made me want to do it.